Now it's time to decide which applicant you will hire. If you have screened applicants carefully, interviewed thoroughly, and checked references, you probably have a gut feeling about the applicants. Review what you feel is important to you in a PA. Keeping that in mind, ask yourself some questions about each applicant. Does the applicant have a work pattern that is stable, not a job hopper? You would not want to hire someone who has a history of going from job to job. Was the applicant on time for interviews? For this type of work, being a little late is not acceptable without a really good excuse. Did the applicant tell you anything that showed that she could work independently and solve problems? You need a resourceful person who can take directions and solve problems. Were you comfortable with each other in the interview? Was the person easy to be with, or was the interview difficult to get through? If the interview was difficult, you probably could expect that it would be difficult working with the applicant. Do you think the applicant has skills and personality to do the job? Does the applicant have experience or training related to the job? Does the applicant seem capable and willing to do the job? Look for skills, experience, and personality. You might consider hiring an applicant who doesn't have experience as a PA if he shows he was capable and had other responsible jobs. Does the applicant seem healthy, strong, pleasant, and energetic? This is a judgment call on your part. Was the applicant clean, neat, and presentable? Was the applicant dressed appropriately? Can you expect an applicant to keep you and your home clean and neat if he can't be that way for an interview? This is really important if your PA must help you with personal care. Did the applicant sit with arms and legs crossed the entire time? Be alert to body language. The applicant may be shy or uncomfortable with someone who has a disability, or the applicant could be hiding something. Look for a person who is open, who maintains eye contact, and leans toward you. Did the applicant give you the number of references that you asked for? If they did not, ask why. If the person claims that they didn't know anyone, suggest teachers, a minister or rabbi, coaches, or volunteer organizations. If the person really is reluctant to give references, consider that a big red flag. Offering the job. Once you have narrowed down your choices, offer the position to your number one choice. Sometimes the applicant will have second thoughts or may have taken another job. Then you go to the next person on your list. When offering the job, tell them the start date and time for the first training session. Once you have offered the job and the applicant has accepted, you should call the other final applicants to let them know that you have made a choice. Tell them that you enjoyed meeting them, but that you decided to hire someone whose qualifications best suited your needs. If your backup system needs workers, ask if they would be willing to serve as a backup. Keep their numbers handy. If a PA quits or is sick, you could save some time and energy by calling someone who already has been interviewed. You then have to call the Taking Control program and set up a date for your selection to come in and go through a criminal background check and brief orientation. Tryout period. If you or an applicant aren't sure if the job will work out, offer a tryout or trial period. You both can decide on a term for the trial period. Consider a trial of 2 or 3 weeks. After that time, you can discuss a long-term employment if you're both satisfied. Backup plan. You absolutely must have a backup plan if you rely on your PA to get you out of bed, bathed, dressed, and fed. You've gone through the recruiting process, putting in time, energy, and money. If you do not have a backup plan to cover times when your PA is ill or needs time off, now is a good time to build one. Work agreement. Now is the time to put in the specific information for this PA. Both of you should sign and have a copy of the work agreement. If you have a probationary period, be sure it's in your work agreement. First day on the job. You now have a new employee who is about to show up at your home to begin work. Are you prepared to help them get started on what will hopefully be a successful experience? Even an experienced personal assistant will need introduction to your needs, preferences, and style of doing things. This requires an orientation and training process, which is covered in the next module.